Hey up guys, what's going on and welcome back to York City. I got to this page and I suddenly felt really guilty for not bringing you this match in any way, shape or form. The wave of nostalgia was too much for me to handle. So, I'm not quite sure the entirety of what I'm going to show you here. It may just go as its own thing. It may just be highlights at the beginning of Monday's video. Either way, I'll see you after the intro. You may notice it's a mostly rotated side, in fact, and one name stands out. Callum Nassell is starting this one. Depending on who we get in the next round, might be his only appearance for the entire year. But of course, the one player who played Hereford 8 years ago. How time flies. Nassell's played a lovely ball through to Van Gassel, good save. Now I do have a bit of an issue in this match, and that's not the fact that Ruben Van Gassel's just taken an injury. It's the fact that Ethan Laird was suspended for this match, and of course, with Shaw now being on international duty, meant I had no natural right backs left available to me. Medina's stepping in there. My actual normal left back is at left back. Almost as a result of that, I would have been tempted to play a left back out of position if I actually had more defenders available to me at this stage. Very speaking, I could have put Littler at left back, I suppose, and I probably will introduce him some point in the second half. We've not scored yet, which is the most remarkable thing. Not to get too cocky or anything, but they are still in the Vanarama National North here. Come on. Right, so there's some lovely passing play down the left-hand side. It switched over to the left. Oh, Edgar scored from a corner. It threw me off. Even if I was commentating over this in full, I probably would have missed that anyway. Took me a second to register the fact it'd actually gone in the goal there. Maxence on the corner, Edgar in the box. A familiar sight over the last few years, but of course, out of the main team. He still won't sign a contract with a reasonable wage. It's really annoying. So it's still only 1-0 with 15 minutes to go. I've made all my changes now. And that's how we finished. Honestly, there wasn't actually that much more to talk about in the match than I actually did talk over, so fair enough. What has to go down as an incredibly disappointing performance, in a way. I mean, their goalkeeper's had the game of his life. So I'll let you know who we get in the fourth round, and it may actually be the main episode, main part of this episode, considering it does pop in before the Bournemouth match later on. We did draw 1-1 with Man United, which has made this all the more surprising, honestly. We beat Leicester better than we did Hereford. Okay then, we took the lead against Man United, they equalised. A lot of bookings, kind of an odd match, really. But again, went on the attack from the off. And we got a result against the top 6 side. So it's another point in the Arsenal. We're 11th in the league as things stand. I'll let you know any developments as we go through, but I'm not going to bring you any of these matches in between. I will bring you back for the fourth round properly later on, depending on who we get, or Bournemouth, if it's someone not really that important. Of course, there's a takeover still in progress. That's the main thing I'm interested in right now, because I can't actually sign anyone, even if I wanted to. Dutra's genuinely got quite very good. Oh, there we are. Bristol City or Cardiff. I'll bring you back for Bournemouth then. Whilst this takeover palaver is preventing me from actually doing any signings, at the same time it might be a bit of a blessing in the sense that no one else can buy our players in the same time. As far as I'm concerned anyway. I think that's how that works. Never mind, we're back in the market. I do suspect that next time someone comes a calling though, we will be having a takeover in proper, because that's twice now. Ah, well that was easy negotiation. So we just blown back Stoke 4-0. I think this was the best way of doing the summaries rather than just bringing it all in one go on the main page. It feels a little bit more real time in a way. I don't know the right word to explain that, honestly. But 4-0, Madeira, Velasquez, Tony Evans back twice. Stoke still ahead of us in the table though. They have 29 points so far. They're sat in 8th and they scored 17 goals. It's a very Stoke season. Don't score a lot but concede even less. Until now. Oh, and yeah, I started that match on attacking, by the way. I'm not taking it off until it stops providing results. By the way, I did notice that Tottenham beat Liverpool there. Unbeaten season still eludes them. The attacking experiment continues with great success. We've, I dare say, dominated Southampton and beat them 3-0. Limited them to 4 shots in total. In what I have to say was an incredibly impressive display. They're still in the European spaces, by the way. Next up are the two teams in 16th and 17th. We're a point behind 7th. So 2-0 against Newcastle, frankly should have been more. They had a sending off and Loris Karius in goal. The fact he saved 9 shots is kind of remarkable. No, let's not have a pile on about Loris Karius here. Apparently he'd actually gone 233 consecutive minutes without conceding prior to today. I'm as surprised as you are. Not as surprising as this headline. I mean, this is ridiculous, but all part of the experiment. And another 2-0 against Leicester. This is getting a little bit repetitive and I'm slightly worried I've broken the code. We've been beaten by Cardiff. Chelsea, fine. Man United, fine. Southampton away, fine. Newcastle, Leicester, fine. Cardiff? No, can't beat them. Admittedly, I did put Girona in goal. I thought, yeah, give him a cup run out. He barely features. He's not complained at all, but Oxlade-Chamberlain has. Lentas has. Girona, no, he's fine. Fine to collect his 15 grand a week, 20 grand a week, whatever it is. Oh, I had to give Dutra a new contract, by the way. RB Leipzig came a-sniffing. Weirdly, on the initial offer, RB Leipzig, it said Dutra had no interest in joining Leipzig, which surprised the hell out of me. I gave him a new contract, though, because his release fee was only 12.5 million. I figured it might have got triggered otherwise. It's now 41.5. Why is that the only option for passionate? I can't fault you for effort. Nobody expected us to win, but you gave it everything. Nobody expected us to win? We're freaking 7th in the Premier League. They're still in the Championship. I'm not happy, obviously. Well, that's sad with this video. It was going very well up till that point. Again, Girona in goal. We do have to meet that, and other major issues in terms of the squad. Worth noting that a lot of those changes were actually enforced changes. Obviously, Escobar's injured at this point. Alonso's injured. Velasquez was injured. Madeira also gone as well. Shao's still obviously on international duty. The only change that I kind of did on my own regard was sticking Girona in goal, and that paid out well, didn't it? Oh, and Van Gastel over Ebersbach. They're the only two changes I made on my own record. Lentas was already in the defensive role. And strictly speaking, better overall. It's like they've decided they don't want to do cup competitions, distractions. I'm really hoping China are out of the international thing by now. It's been going on for about 2 weeks already. I don't know why he had to go in the middle of December, though. He only started on the 7th of January. I don't know why he left in December. I mean, Nick, just say yes, mate. Of course it's disappointing. Just time for an update on Sonny Aluko. Now manager of Sunderland in the Premier League. I still don't understand this. This might be my favourite random person to become a manager. Wolves, who beat us in the Carabao Cup, still in the Championship of course, have been utterly ruined in the semi-finals by Man United. But bravo to the Championship side getting that far. It just makes our loss to them seem a little less bad, if I'm honest. Also the fact we drew Man United at home and they've been demolished 6-0. Admittedly, there's a sending off involved there. I did say I'd bring you the Bournemouth match in full, so the team for this will be not Girona in goal. There's Dutra, still need him on the bench because I've run out of players still. Best, Coleridge, Medina and Laird at right back. Shaw still on international duty. I wonder how he's actually getting on. They're at the quarterfinals, they're still in the quarterfinals, and they've got to play Qatar today, I imagine. So he's doing okay, not out of it yet. Damn. Admittedly, after this, I think there's a 2-week break anyway, so as long as he comes back in that gap, I'll be okay with that. Lentas, Grimes and Maxence will be in the Mazzala for the time being. Velasquez still injured. Oxlade-Chamberlain takes the left-hand side, Ebersbach takes the right-hand side, and Madeira takes the striker role because I've just sent Nick Thay on loan. We've got an incoming loan to counterbalance that one. I've delayed Nick's loan out for 2 weeks whilst this one comes in. Still hasn't come in yet, which is really annoying. Escobar's not too far from returning either. So at that point, we'll be back to 3. Robertson still exists. He's not fully fit either, but he exists. Also put you back on support. There we are. Now, where we go? I'm still getting over that Cardiff loss, if I'm honest. This chalk lad. We've been on a good run, Lenny. Ignore the Cardiff game. Please be solid out there. Right, now we got Dutra in goal, who has a almost 42 million release clause, which obviously indicative of his abilities. He's bloody fantastic. Medina's in the back post. He's done it straight at Odysseus. Oh, he's still there. What's he? Oh, he's offside. Like, what's the goal he done there? Why has he dropped it? I didn't show you the table beforehand. Yeah, we're 5th. We're 7th. I mentioned it, but we are 7th. Which is ridiculous because now all we need is 4 points to reach 40 points. One of which we're getting right now. Now, I do suspect teams like Everton, Tottenham will probably take advantage of the fact of when we actually hit those top 6 teams again, which is probably not too far off at this stage. I know a whole bunch of them are towards the end of the year, but I think the other bunch are not too far off now. West Ham on a bit of a slide, Brighton on a bit of a slide. They were doing okay towards the start of the year. Not so much now. Norwich on the rise, however. To contrast, there's something going on here. Is there a penalty? It's well inside the box. Madeira's still on those. Escobar's not on the pitch, so I can't really double check that one. Still haven't checked it, if I'm honest. Madeira, no, that's all good. Lovely little penalty here. It smashes that Easter egg looking ball into the goal. Why is it red and green? Why is it yellow and green? So far, so good. I mean, it's a penalty that's put us ahead, but we have the better of the game so far anyway. You weren't that bad. You weren't that bad. You weren't that bad. Although, the Ox on the left, a little bit. Not his most comfortable of positions, but he can do it, sort of vaguely. And now all we need is 1 more point. We're 6th. Southampton are drawing. What is happening? And considering you basically enjoyed this entire journey of January with me, you're not seeing any of the highlights. Madeira's put it in. It's 2-0. Like, you're not seeing any of the highlights of the previous games, but what a wild ride this January's been so far. I say wild, it's just been up and up and up, and then Cardiff, and then up and up. That nearly goes in first. Post denies Lentas, and Medina does the follow-up. Second goal of the season for him. Bournemouth have acquired Harvey Elliott in this transfer window off Norwich, and on he comes for them. Maxence is now ready to charge. Madeira's there. Madeire's through that, really. If he gets past 23 as well, we're in for something special here. Perhaps? Not quite. Gotta say that actually the goal we scored against Manchester United was a thing of beauty. It was similar to that, except Ebersbach was pushed up a little bit further on the opposite side, and the pass Madeira found for Ebersbach there to fall onto on the counter was fantastic work. Sort of thing you expect from Man United, actually. Right. You may notice Nacelles on the bench just because I've run out of players. I'm looking at Ebersbach's fitness and Alex Oxlade-Chamberlain's overall performance so far today, and I'm honestly contemplating 5 at the back for the last 10 minutes or so. I don't think we'll do that though. Robertson is available for a little bit, so we'll stick him up front. That's the obvious thing to do. While I was even contemplating 5 at the back, Van Gassel on the right, Madeira moves to the left, and we stick Robertson in front. I forgot I actually did have a striker on the bench, unlike last match. That's the logical thing to do. Nearly faffing around putting 5 people in the back line somehow. I think Laird is okay a little bit further forward, but I don't think Best is, so that wouldn't have worked anyway. And nothing's happening in the rest of this game, regardless. So, lovely. 2-0. And you actually saw the highlights for that one. Dutra, by the way, obviously wasn't in goal for the Cardiff match. Nearly 500 minutes of game time without conceding now. Also another 2-0 in the league. I might have actually broken the code. Good win. The Minster men were strongly tipped for the drop this season, but they currently find themselves in the top half of the table, battling to qualify for continental football next season. I mean, this was supposed to take years. What's happening? Now, despite this, I do fully expect... Now, you see them coming up West Ham away. Admittedly, they've dropped off a little bit, but Everton at home, they did us away. Chelsea away. Liverpool, City, Tottenham, Arsenal all down. So we've still got 5 of the big 6 to play, of course. Man United, we've already played twice. And a few tough away games in that lot as well. The Leeds away one, I suspect they'll be fighting. Carrow Road's always a tricky one, as is West Ham actually away from home, typically. They actually beat us at home, I think. So some tough ones in this lot. And I expect teams like Everton and Tottenham to capitalise on that when we inevitably drop points against these teams. But it's nice to get the points here in the games that we kind of ought to get them from. With that in mind, I will bring you the trip to Stamford Bridge and the Sunderland game at home. Sunderland sat at the bottom of the table. Should be interesting. Just to get you caught up on the only really piece of major transfer news, and that's the fact that Edgar's gone permanently to Watford. Annoyingly, he's being paid the wage that I was trying to get him on. Wanted 24,000 from me. I offered him 16.25. He didn't want that. Anyway, his contract was up at the end of the year, and they paid $7.5 million for him. So I see that as good business. He's a championship level player. We probably would have been 5th choice start of the next season. He probably wouldn't, he would have fallen down the pecking order next year as well, as we would have theoretically strengthened the defence position, I would imagine, come the summer. Who knows? There's certainly 2 young centre-backs coming through in that one, so if either of them were up to scratch, then he would have fallen down the pecking order. So $7.5 million for a player who ran out of contract at the end of the year, great. Much as we've loved him in the 3 years he's been here properly, 3.5 technically, he came for 1.1, he's gone for 7.5, and put in some lovely seasons in between. Obviously, I'll let you know about all the transfer stuff, admittedly towards the end of February, but I will let you know all the transfer stuff in the next episode. I won't bring you West Ham, Chelsea and Sunderland. Until then, ta-ra!